Hello everyone, welcome to the stream, where today I am revamping the Mimic Effects environment. I'm aiming to re-release them tomorrow. Since I upgraded the previous version with the spikes and all that, you probably saw that on Twitter. But with this one, I'm trying to find out what would be a good set to display this. So some requirements, I need this ground plane to be there. Maybe not visible, but I need it to be there. Because that's what the object's tendrils attach to, as we can see right there. But yeah, I'm wondering if I should just have like, ooh, a test developer environment. Or should I have the proper, you know, like what I have in the other scene, the snowy environment. Because I think, I don't know, the previous thing that I had didn't look too great because it was, you know, a weird countertop, I guess. With just some materials that I made, which ended up being in my material pack. But yeah, I need to try like different cameras, quite a few different things. Just to see what will work, because I'm not entirely sure. And if you all do have feedback, please let me know. I am open to hearing about it. Uh-oh. Wait, why is this? That's not a huge deal. I can live with that. Let's see what this camera view looks like. That's not bad. And I can make it so that it tracks the empty of choice. Where is track 2? What is it? Oh, I need to rename that empty. Yeah, I need to label that as empty mimic or mimic empty, one of those. Target Z. So that we have this kind of tracking the thing. But I also want this flipped around, so that it's viewing it from the opposite side. Or maybe I could just reverse the animation. Let's see, let's open this mimic empty. Let's go in, just do a quick reversal on the animation, so that we can see it coming towards the camera instead of away. I don't know, this is all testing. Like, the one thing I really like that I changed is that I made this a metallic shader. That looks way better than what I previously had. And make that a little bit lighter, maybe. I'll have to see. I can't add the same spikes to this as I did with the other one, just because it wouldn't look great. It would be, you know, the kind of gloopy version that I currently have is the best version, even though they run on similar technology. So yeah, this environment I'm okay with, but I'm not entirely sure it would be the best option. It's like, what else should I put in here? Like, what environment should it be? Like, I could make it, like, almost a concrete style. Or like that, but I'm very much not feeling that. All testing, we'll see what happens. Make that part a bit lighter. Let's see, let's rewind. I do like the little bit more. No, but that distracts from the main event. So let's try just putting the kind of dev world, the grid floor. Ooh, no, that's not good. Why did I mix? That's the kind of fall off. So let's change that back to gray. Maybe turn up the roughness or turn down the specular. That actually does not look bad. It's a developer environment, but it doesn't look bad. I'm okay with that. I may add in some... Let's see, let's switch it to this camera, but rotate this camera around. Bring that over to there. Let's bring it up. Rotate it downwards. Okay, that might be a good idea. Well, let's put this camera back and see if it'll... And also I want to try, what does this look like if I turn off that and then just raise up the sides a bit? So that it looks like an infinite world. Some people might like the previous version, but this I think is alright. And then I'll keep this plane separate. I'll have the same material so it kind of blends in when you render it. But this floor, people will be able to see it and move it around. Even though, okay, yeah, you can move it around and it does look different. So I'm going to, is this above or below? I can't really tell, so I'm just going to move it up a little bit more. What do you guys think? I really would like to hear the user feedback on this change from... I should probably show you the previous version, just so that those of you who haven't bought this can see what I am talking about. So this was the previous setting for the effect, very vibrant and all that, but I'm like, why would a countertop be the situation, scene for it? Actually, maybe I should make this like a I do like the test environment look. It looks more professional. But what if I made this like a scientific laboratory kind of deal? You know, like a horror corridor hallway. So I'll give that a go. But yeah, this is all for upgrading the scene, making it better for people who want to buy it. So if I did that, and then I put in a bevel, That, is like, the sci-fi corridors. Now let's do that, just apply that, and then I do something like this, and then just made it repeat. So whoops, daisy. Set that to extrude along normals, and then make it so that goes in or out. Yeah, and I think it's better. Now we array this in the negative direction. We do. Oh, wait, I'm kind of liking that. Just seeing it come after you, and you're like, oh no, I gotta get away. Yeah, let's give that a go, just to see what it could look like. So let's hide everything else. Let's add in some, lights. Just to see. And I will need to make some changes, but I want to just see what the horror movie lighting would appear to be like. I'm thinking spotlights on the sides, so that we get that kind of look. It's like that, and let's blend it. So that's like that, so it's like 300. Let's delete this one. Ooh. Let's do that, and then let's do that. Maybe lift them up even more. Nope. Like, since we are rendering an Eevee, we don't get all that lovely bounce to lighting. Unfortunately. Well, let's just see what happens. So we have that. Yeah, no, I think this needs to be an outdoor scene. Because since this is metallic, the materials are not showing up as they should. They're just too hidden in the scene. But I'll try to keep going with this until I'm like, nah, this will definitely not work in any situation. Let's scale this in. Let's move that to the side. And then let's give it another material. Sign, let's bring this down. And I think maybe let's give this the darker material as well. And maybe let's also throw in bevel, but let's put that before the other thing. Set it to harden normals, set auto smooth. So that happens, and maybe we can extend this back even further, so that when we, input more of this kind of stuff, it won't be as bad. There we go. Sci-fi paneling. Obvious repetition, but I think that's excusable. Let's just keep it extending all the way back. That's creepy, isn't it? I don't know. I do not know. Let's try maybe that and then bring that back. I mean, this is just getting trippy. Just because of the infinite hallway situation we have going on. See, what if it came out? Nope. Let's see, let's try other things. That's not bad. And then control, let's bring that out. Bring this down. Now which... Oh, I do like that design. I don't like these, though, so I think I may get rid of that one. And yeah, let's just do both. I don't know. Is this Eevee? Why are your shadows so beautiful? I don't know. In this scenario, I'm using spotlights so that they kind of have that, you know, that kind of fade on the side, which I do like. But yeah, let's see what this looks like in cycles. Pretty standard. Yeah. I don't think I like the spaceship scenery in this. Are you interested in the Endless Engines challenge from Punisher? I bet you would do really good. I've seen Punisher's old challenges, but I've never done them myself. And I didn't know that the other one was coming, a new one was coming up. So I may be interested. It's a possibility. But I would have to look that up. Like which, let me put that there, and 15. I need this to be interesting. I can't have it be so plain. Even though it is a plane. Like, that just looks boring. How do I make it look exciting? Because the previous one, it, you know, didn't make much sense because it was a countertop. At least it looked interesting. Maybe a nice orange light. Maybe making this more diffuse would help. All of a sudden I'm getting deja vu. I feel like I've done this before. This is weird. I probably did try doing this before in the previous version, but then I was like, no, the countertop was the best option. Yeah. And also, I should mention, if you were wanting to buy the spiked version of the Mimic, it is currently up on Gumroad. I'm doing that as kind of a soft release before I officially change it, because I want to edit this one as well. And just in case any problems come up. Something just isn't right. I need to make it right. Like, that is most certainly not correct. What does it look like in cycles? Not great. Let's try just a basic material. Oh, I tried that. Oh, yeah, I'm getting not deja vu, but I remembered what I tried to do with this scene. So I originally was like, oh, let's just have a really solid orange color. Yeah, I had a really, really difficult time making sure the scene was lit appropriately. Just... Here, let's unhide everything and then hide that and then just look at this. Like, what if I just tried the studio lighting style? I'll show you what I mean in a second. So like this, except the light is white. Or this is white. White, specular is at 0.5, and then roughness is set all the way up, pretty much. But the world has no HDRI. This is like 0.1, and then none of that. So that we just get that. And we only have like area lights in the scene. but they need to be strong area lights. It's like this, but they're kind of offset in the background. Like that. It has potential. I'll keep playing with this until it does what I want it to. So, usually these scenes do not have a back to it. SY0. And we do not need these vertices on these edges on the inside, so let's dissolve that, and of course it did that. Yeah, no worries, I'll just delete that, and then extend this over to there, do that, because I want this kind of thing. Let's reduce the subdivisions, because that is not necessary. So there we go, this kind of scenery, but I need to make sure that, there we go. That's not doing that. So let's set up the kind of studio-esque lighting. That's, let's see if we can fix this. Ooh, that's not bad. Ooh, that looks very clean. Ooh, that looks amazing. Well, maybe not amazing, but serviceable. I was worried that the, multiple lights in this would look way, way too noisy. But it's not bad. And if I really wanted to get away with it, I could just delete the far two ones. Not the current two that I'm selecting. Like, I could maybe select those, delete them, and it would still survive, but those just look better. And maybe I could just change this to a rectangle. Change this one to rectangle. Make it so that's like that, so that goes along. Does that look better or worse? It will mess up the... Let's delete all those. See what that looks like. Oops. And copy this one and move it back. Ooh, so we get very interesting lighting. It's very diffuse. So let's give that a go. Yeah, and I also want to copy the object data for both of these so that they are perfectly in sync. So I can change one and the other will do the same. So I need to set this to Arena 04's data. There we go. Oh, got a little lag spike. Let's hope that's nothing too consequential. I'm liking that. It's a little... And I need to push this to be even wider. A wide mesh. So it looks like this is in a photo shoot scenario. Which... I think that's okay. It's a little weird that, your alien symbiote thingy is, having a photo shoot, but, maybe it just likes the attention. Go, and I want to have some of the grid floor to communicate this is a test environment. I do want those lines to be a lot less noticeable. So let's do that and bump this up. Let's bring this down to like 2. And let's bring this down to like... Yeah, there we go. So I want this to be a lot less noticeable, even though I could just use a hue saturation value node just to make it super design agnostic, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Okay, let's keep the saturation at 0.5. Set that to 0.5. Because, ooh, yeah, even... Maybe the lights are too bright. So let's reduce that to be like that. So almost no visual change happened when that happened. But this is at 0.5 and it looks so incredibly bright. And that's why, because the roughness is so incredibly high. There we go. So if the thickness... Let's change that to 0.1. It also makes it look iridescent even though it is not. Which is very interesting if you ask me. Let's see what this looks like in cycles. Ooh. That looks pretty good if you ask me. I also want to try another lighting setup where it's like, oops, let's switch that to median point. Do that and maybe do that as well. The number of lights will equal more lag, but I do kind of like that though. So maybe, what's it, Control D? What's the Alt D? Yeah, there we go, Alt D to copy with object data. How is that looking? And also, I need to test how motion blur works with this. Motion blur does work. I need to make sure there's no freaking out that happens, because I may need to fix that. Let's take a look under the hood. See. Bingo. Okay. So one of the problems I had with this before was that it was freaking out when motion blur happened. I'm not sure if I fixed that. But if I set the ID beforehand, that fixed it in the previous version. Whoops. Index. There we go. Let's turn on grid snapping because that can be very useful. I should probably go and look over the code. I'll label this ID fix. What does the nodes look like? Noding is like coding, just, you know, in a more visual medium, which is easier for me to interpret, even though I did not exactly make this easy to understand. It is all quite complicated. Everything seems to be on the up and up. Converting this to include named attributes made it so much cleaner. So I think that's good. I do not know what else to change. So I do like the facelift that I gave it, you know, the nice pearly white environment. Perfect. This gives kind of like the science lab vibe, with it still being a test environment. People will be like, "Oh no," or they'll be like, "Oh, how did you light that scene? It must be Cycles, right?" And I'll be like, "No, Eevee." They'll be, hopefully, they'll find it quite impressive. I do want to try, let's see, let's set that to like 1, is it? Or 0.5? I want to try the iridescence. In fact, I don't think this will look good, but I want to try it on the off chance that it does. Let's set this to far. Yeah, this 9 times out of 10 will not look good. It's trippy. So yeah, if you ever wanted that, you can do it. So yeah, I may have to redo some of the promo images for this to include this version. I also want to try, let's turn off metallic. Turn up this, and then maybe turn down. That doesn't look bad either. Okay, so I'll have 2 separate versions of this effect. Whoops, let me copy all of the nodes. Now, say it again. User feedback or chat feedback is very much appreciated if you have ideas. So there's that version, which looks, you know, more hardcore, shall we say. Then we have the subsurface scattering version, which I can make that look more shiny, and that might look better. I don't know. Let's try putting this into cycles. Ooh, yeah, subsurface scattering. It's very different from Eevee to cycles. That's what it looks like there, and then, yeah, no, I like the metallic. Not gonna lie. I want to see what it looks like with the HDRI set to 0. Okay, it still looks bad, which is good. So it's not too different from Eevee. Good. Or, you know, the background stuff. Maybe I should try, putting some stuff into the HDRI just to see. Let's go into the world material. Take a gander. And for the lights, do I have a scene? No, I do not have a scene collection for this. That is insanity. Let's move this to set. There we go. There's that. Oh wait, this that camera can be deleted. So I'll have that and then the floor. Active objects, yep, that's okay. I could put the camera in the set collection. So I just didn't label it, okay. But that's good. I can easily disable all the lights if needed, so that I can check out what happens if I use a Voronoi texture for the world texture. So let's take a look. That doesn't look great, but I can just do a little bit of editing. Ooh, that is intriguing. Let's plug that into the strength, crank it, see what that looks like. Ah, it looks like a Voronoi texture on that. Let's bump it up to something a little better. Ooh, and it's a bit more laggy. Switch that to be more like that. 500. And this will only work in cycles, but I do want to see. It's almost like a gobo, except different. Let's also bump that up to like 0.1. Lesson learned, way too bright. But, you know, this was a test, not the end-all be-all. So it does have like the highlights, which I did want. So it doesn't look bad per se. So we have those we have those lights set up. Then we have kind of the filler light in there. So let's set that to like 30. Bring those down. I want like the kind of highlights to show up more. And I probably will throw this out, but it's for testing to see if it would look good, which I do not believe it does. So there we go. We got this. The lights, since they are so wide, kind of lose a bit of their oomph. But I think in this case it's excusable. If I switch that to there, you can see their shadows quite a bit more. So let's change that to 5 just to do that. So it has much more direction. I'm liking that better. Let's set that to like 0.15. So there's that. I want to do a test render just to make sure that the motion blur. Oh, I do want to, yeah, let's test this. Let's set this to 2. Oh, this is going to be cool. Okay, max blur, let's set this to like 30 steps. Oop, too high of a render time for my liking, so let's set that to like 32 and 1. Or maybe like 2 or 3. Yeah. So I want to see what this looks like with a high motion blur. Let's, this will be unusable, but I just want to make sure that there's no glitches happening. As far as I can tell, nothing. Because what would happen before I did that ID fix? I didn't know it was because of this beforehand. but it would just look super weird. It would flicker every once in a while due to the motion blur. Okay, that's good enough. Let's take a look. Yeah, that's a might bit weird, you might say. But it does look kind of ethereal. So let's make it so that the camera does not move. And take a look at it again. Yeah, let's just... It would be like a ghostly apparition in this case. And we can see the ghosts, which I do want to avoid. So let's, turn off that, keep only one step. Uh-oh. Motion blur is not doing its job. Explain why. Why would it not be doing its job? Because it should be showing stuff moving. Bug fixing time. Let's see why motion blur is not working. Geometry node editor. Turn off the ID fix. Really? Exaggerate? Nothing. Whoa. That's not great. So, what if I were to set the ID beforehand? Let's, oh, is it because of the instances? It could be a very legitimate reason why. Yeah. I suspect that's the reason. Because the stuff is instanced and realized. Because every time it kind of refreshes what is happening. Oh man, that would be a big bummer if that's the case. That would be a real big shame, but there is a way for me to test that. So if I use points to vertices and then extrude the mesh, let's just have that like vertices so that goes like up or something. Let's make this a vector for the offset. And then, yeah, mesh to curve. Come on. Bug fixing, bug fixing. Ah, and nothing shows up. Bum ba bum, bum ba bum. Why would it not? We have that. It's there, it's there, it's there. Oh, it's because of the resampling, isn't it? Yeah, there is a lack of resampling happening. Let's, resample the curve we made. So, resample. Can you just post-process motion blur? Not if the data doesn't come around. Oh god. Oh, I set the length beforehand. So maybe I just need to go back to here and then over there so that we get that data. Okay, let's see. No, motion blur still does not work. Is it because it's a curve? Okay, so that bug fixing told us that that was not the problem, which is good. Or bad, because we didn't find out why. Trim curve. Let's see if that's the issue at hand. No, it's not. I am confused by that. Instance on points? Is that the thing? What if I just make this like assorted points? Just some random points scattered along. Random value. Doing their thing. Do they move? Huh? Wait, how? Ah, okay. I forgot that's how I had it set up. Okay, so motion, that's not even the issue either. Delete geometry, is that could be a reason. Nope, it is not. Reverse curve, that may be a reason why. 12. No, I am confused by that, because motion blur should be enabled. Oh hey Purse, you came in during the bug fixing time. For some reason motion blur does not wish to work with this unless I have these steps turned up. So with steps turned up, motion blur works, but with it down, the motion blur data just decides to take a day off. So maybe I just need to, instead of trying to bug fix this, which may just be like a curves issue, maybe I'll just do that. Or just leave motion blur up. Yeah, one step wasn't enough because the way the EV motion blur works is that if you have it at one step, it just does the post-processing effect, which relies on the vector data that the mesh has. But with geometry nodes, that's iffy if it shows up. But if you have it at steps, it physically goes through the time and then sees where that would be, like Cycles does. Except with this, you can see the ghosts. It's not noise dithered. So, yeah. So I'm trying to... the post-processing is wait a second. Okay, good. So it's not just my imagination. I thought that I just turned the max blur down. When you have max blur up, that's the post-processing, so if you turn that off and then turn on the steps, it'll work. Motion blur in post for this process? That's the problem. If it doesn't work in Eevee, I'm not sure if it will work in Cycles, because the vector data is not going out of the thing. Maybe I could test this. Let's go into Cycles and render part of this, but let's get the vector. Is that it? Is that what you put into the motion blur pass? Come on, you can do it. That takes a while to render. So let's go into compositing, use nodes, and check this out. No vector data, as far as I can see. Here, let's do a test real quick to make sure I'm not going crazy with this. So let's just have a cube in the background and have it animated so that it just moves. Actually, let's parent it to the empty so that we can see how far the motion blur should be. So there's that. Just let that render. Okay. Let's look at compositing. There we go. So we can see here, if I zoom in here, we can see the vector data for the cube moving, but there's none for the mimic. So Blender motion blur wouldn't work. So Eevee motion blur with the steps does work, and I think even if I use Cycles, built-in motion blur, it will function properly? Well, even that's not doing its job. But that's like 3. Because we should... Yeah, the blur on the cube is... I'm going to color that cube a different color to make sure. But yeah, the goal of this, besides the bug fixing, yeah, we can see the cube is very much motion blurred, but the mimic is not. I have to figure out why. It could also be I am referencing the empty to make that move. So it could be a plethora of things. So I'm going to test that as well. So geometry node editor. I'm going to input a cube. Mesh primitives cube, but I'm going to transform, or basically like set the position based on that. Is that working? No, that is working. And we should see in compositing the... Excuse me? Come on, you can do it. I should limit this to like 3 seconds or like 200 samples. There we go. Okay, so that is working. We're getting the vector data. So I have to see the point where it breaks. So I'm going to eliminate a good chunk of this setup to see where it freaks out and decides, no, I am not going to. Well, okay. Actually, that may be the reason, because the stuff isn't moving beforehand. Let's give it a test. So let's move this all the way over to here. Let's try to eliminate as much of this as possible, while still keeping it existent. So let's do that. Still nothing. Is the mimic realized? It is, which may also be the issue, because realized instances is the bane of my existence. So yeah, this is instant. All that is instanced on the points. So I could try getting around that, but it would be a pain in the butt to do. I can like use a sample index and then make it so that they're teleported there. I could try the transport here. Let me just make this so that it's accurate to what it was before. I think that's correct. I broke it somewhere. Or did I? No, it's... Let me control Z until it's back in working condition. Bling bling blong. Yeah, no, that is correct. Wow. Maybe I've just been working on this for so long that it's warped my sense of what it's... Yeah, no, something's not right about it. Maybe it's correct. But I want to see... what happens if I mesh... What happens if I just transform this after the fact? So let's try that. We have the instances here. Let's transform it, move it, according to the empty. After the fact, and let's also mesh them after the fact as well. Just to see if that then gives us some data to work off of. It does! So now we're seeing what we should be seeing in the end result. To a degree. That's because I'm using a transform node. Now, what would happen if we use a set position node? Set to offset. So let's do that. And that works. So let's try seeing at what point it breaks. So there to there. Render. It broke. Delete geometry? Is that it? The delete geometry eliminated the motion blur data. That's a bug. Huh. Let's make sure... Oh wait, I forgot to check the compositing pass. Huh? Wait, why is nothing showing up? Okay, let's set this to 200 samples so that it will... Nope, not 3 minutes. I want this to be time limit 0, max samples 200. Let's let that cook. Just so that I can see in the end result if it does its job. And I do need to see just in Eevee as well. Okay, so that's not showing up. None of it is. Well, let's just focus on Eevee for now. Eevee, render, 1 sample, 32. So that is working. Okay. So the moment the delete geometry shows up, it's gone. Let's set this to points. Same thing. What if I... Oh, maybe I need to set the ID before that. Let's try that. Set ID... no, index. Because with that, it may... Nope, that doesn't work. Dang it. I was pretty sure it would. But the thing is, that's the optimizer for this entire situation. That's what says, hey, all the other geometry in the scene, don't let that freak out because of that. So when we do that... Okay, now that we found the alleged culprit, let's go and bring this out to the end. Oops, and not all the way to the end, mind you. Just to here, end this out. Do we have another culprit? Did I break something else? Okay, we have another culprit among us, which I assume is the trim curve node. Yep, there we go. So anything that alters the index of the curve, that eliminates any kind of geometry. It just decides, no, let's just flick away the motion blur data, which, you know, I'm kind of splitting hairs at this point. No. Nope, that still doesn't work. It just kills. So, delete geometry, trim curve, both of them just eliminate the motion blur data. I think we can just live with that. We can just live with the motion blur in Eevee having to use multiple steps. I think we can. Maybe I'll keep the set ID just so that, you know, it'll be more watertight of a node group in case that does get fixed. Maybe I'll make a bug fix about it. Maybe. Several nodes, delete geometry, that. It's probably I know they're fixing, spline, propagating attributes at the moment, so maybe that's one of the reasons why. Because they probably found that out, that was happening. So let's go and turn back on the camera track in software. But yeah. So if I do choose motion blur for this, yeah, I'll just have to keep that in mind. Because at the moment, I can't get rid of that stuff. It's too important to the node tree. But yeah, there we go. I should try optimizing this a bit more. Because this, it's a bit much. Let's give it a little more breathing room over here. Let's move this part back. Good enough, folks. Good enough. So now, oddly enough, this is much more complex than the Spike version of it. Okay, so that's good. I'm happy with this new setup. It's simple, it's elegant. Much fewer things for this to get hung up over. So let's go into the world shader, make sure there's no bloat in the scene. Which this might mean that this file will get lighter than before. Let's shoot for, I don't know, maybe under 2 megabytes. Is that possible? That may be possible, but we'll have to see. So we got that. We have all the attributes viewable. Got here by way of Kurt. Oh yes, Curtis Holt. Yes, he did a little shout out for me, which I'm very grateful for. But yeah, I'm glad you're here. I do mostly these live streams because I've been waiting for the geometry node simulations to come out to make new tutorial content. And those have been postponed to 3.6. So I'm doing these live streams to experiment, and if I find something good enough to put out there as a tutorial that hasn't been covered before, I will. The problem is I haven't found that yet. So it's gonna be a while before tutorials are back up and running. Because, yeah, geometry nodes, there hasn't been too much stuff. Like the latest thing that was added, I did a tutorial for the named attributes. Arguably the best part of geometry nodes nowadays, named attributes and all that. But I did do that. Oh yeah, I heard his cult. That's a little bit of a joke. His name is Curtis Holt, but sometimes we like calling him Curtis Colt because it's, you know, what we call funny. Yeah. But yep, this project is good, ready to go. I don't think I'll use motion blur just because, you know, you get to see the effect a bit better. So let's turn that off and keep this at 0.5 in case people want to turn it back on. And I'll set these default settings so that people won't say, oh, why is the motion blur not working? Good enough. Good enough. So yeah, as an upgrade from the previous scene, I'll go and showcase that again. In hindsight, it was hilarious what I chose to have. So this was the previous scene, which it's not bad, but it's kind of an odd choice. Why would you have it on a wooden countertop? And there are also other issues with the scene, like the sunlight is set to 50, or no, 100, which is unacceptable. So changing it from the countertop scene to the kind of sci-fi scene, you know, the sun not being as bright, or maybe I should add a gobo to this as well. I do have the gobo material still set up. So let's try that. The sunblock, as I call it. But yeah, let's bring it up, put it next to here, and let's rotate it a bit. So it's more like that. Yeah. Yeah, let's try just a standard gobo. See how that looks. So that you can see it in all its terrifying glory. Let's scale it down on here. I'm not feeling it. Like we have that. Yep, not feeling it. Let's go back. So the lighting is going to be very extremely soft. But I am okay with that. Do all these have the same? Oh, they do still have the same parameters. So if I were to do that, with the super sharp shadows, which doesn't look bad. Doesn't look horrible. But I'm kind of liking the soft ones instead. Let's also move all these lights back to see how those... Ooh! I like that. Even though it's not visible in the camera. That's just a wee bit of a problem. So let's bring that there. I do like the kind of not overcast look. I mean, I think you guys know what I'm going for. Something like that. Then let's bring it up, and I need to scale that properly. So let's, you know, just scoot this over so that's much closer, so that we can see that a bit better. That's a mood, but not the mood I'm going for. I do like when it's zoomed. Oh, I really like that kind of look when it's zoomed out. So maybe I'll keep it like that. You know, you get the proper like studio feel of it. I'll just dissolve that face because it's unnecessary. That one's fine. Shade smooth. For the subdivisions, I'll turn off use limit surface and optimal display. Why not? Let's just make sure that is like that. Yeah, I do like that look. And that makes it feel a lot more presenter style. So for the camera, I think I'll turn down the FOV by a bit. Or the focal length. Even, is that good? Let's do a compromise at 48. You know, we're splitting hairs at the moment. Looks like they're testing it in a lab. That is exactly what I'm going for. kind of lab look instead of the countertop look. You know, this project needed a facelift. Needed something to just make it pop in my new vibe, my new era projects. So maybe I will lower the lights by a bit. Does that look better or worse? Let's compare. No, I do like the shadow being more underneath it. But if I ever want to, say, have a car going around, I could do that, because this means we get those really nice, you know, those effects. Which, you know, this is, you know, you get the car going by and then that happening. So yeah, I do, let's lighten up that by a little bit. I do sorry. Just had to do like a little half cough for a bit. That's not bad. Switch this to more of a purple. Let's bring it down. Is that good? Let me skip forward in the music by a little bit to something, a little more joyful. What workstations are you all working with? My Asus ProArt is showing its limits. I need more power. I am currently running with an Intel i5 processor and a GTX 3060, RTX 3060 GPU. It works for everything that I need. Then again, I do not do cycles renders often, but it does, as we can see here, work pretty good. And I got this set up for $700, which was a really good deal on Black Friday. So keep that in mind. This is not that kind of deal is not available for everyone. Okay. Other than that, ooh, this is set to high contrast. That could be, high contrast is what I like, because it usually looks better, but it may also not look good. So turning on bloom, okay, that's probably not good. Let's do medium high contrast. I may want to bump up the light in here a bit more, even though that's set to, that being pure white, I'm good with that being like at 0.5. So let's just turn that down, turn that up. I like the green and red being faint. I like the idea. And I also want to try, since I have it in here, the hexagons. Let's give that a go. Let's set this to constant. There we go. Let's... Oh, wait a second. Oh, okay. That's why. So we got that, which that is a look in and of itself. You know, that really enhances the lab styling, even though that looks like a kitchen countertop now. I'm trying to avoid that that look. So let's do that, and then let's mix this with the mix this with the other. Let's keep the scales like that, but make sure that this is majority. No, let's set this to a multiply. Set that to 5. No, maybe a 3. That looks more techno, but I think the debug view is better. Even though, that's not bad. But yeah, comparing that to that. And yeah, it's a bit bright. I like the super subtle look of that. But maybe I'll make it a tad less subtle. Yeah, no, I'm liking that. So you can see, oh, there's a grid there. And people, I think, will find the grid node that I have here quite useful. Actually, maybe I should just have, like, the factor in there. Oh, and I'm using the square cells inside of this? That's actually not a good idea. Because that means that... Huh. I have to rely on another node group. It's fine. Let's see. So reflections, I could enable that. I cannot see them for the life of me. Well, now I can. Yeah, those reflections are not great. Let's try a reflection plane. See if that does anything to help. It kind of does, but not great. So this scene works with lighter grounds to it. So yeah. And we can still see the activity plane as a... Wait, what is this called again? Anchor point floor. So this is the floor where the points are instanced on the root, the tendril loop. The tendril roots. There we go. Before, this was hidden underneath the floor, so that would confuse users. While this new one will hopefully not do that. And I also want to try, let's try the layer weight. See what happens if I hook that into there. So this is a good improvement. We could try different colors for the mimic. Even though this is more like Venom than a mimic effect. Maybe I should label it Venom. Because that may... Yeah, maybe I should try separating the effects into a Venom effect and then the mimic effect. Now that will be a bummer, because people who bought the mimic effects before wouldn't be able to just re-download both of these. Yeah, should I split them? I'm unsure about that. What the heck is... Oh, that's why. I could set that down so that we can't see, ooh, reflections and all that. That... I don't know, do I want the reflections super visible? That does lead to more, like, definement in the scene. I think I'm okay with that. It does feel like it may need a stronger light to it, so let's just give this a go. Let's see what happens if we lean it to the left. Not good. Lean it to the right. Lean it to the right. No. Crisscross? I guess that's not crisscross, but you get the point. So right there, we are overexposing the heck out of this scene. False color says, oh, yeah, you overexposed the entire scene. What the heck did you try doing? So let's try false color here. So we're right on the edge of red. Yeah. Actually, speaking of that, it should be the same here and there. So I want those to match. Thermal view. Yeah, a false color. Some people use it, but it is very useful for saying, oh, what's overexposed in the scene. Why does it look brighter? Oh, standard, right. Filmic is the default setting, but it helps with, making things that are super bright look less bright. Makes it easier for coloring in post. And also, if you want to do Filmic log, then that also helps quite a bit. Which now, I'm just realizing what Filmic log does. It's Filmic logarithm. How did I not realize that before? If I'm correct, if my math knowledge, which is severely limited, it's just geometry nodes and nothing else. Logarithms basically make powered values linear, like exponential values linear, I believe. So yeah, that's why that helps with color grading. It just makes the super bright values with cameras much more understandable. It compresses it, essentially. It compresses like values that go up into like the tens of thousands into a scale of 0 and 1. But it needs much more accurate file types. Compression, regular video compression would hurt it a bit. Alrighty. I think this is good. Like the kind of neon look is alright for the mimic. shinier or less, shinier or less shiny? I was about to say shiny less, but that doesn't make much sense. 0.15. Here we go. Shinier does look better, but it also starts to lose its shape a little bit, so 1.75. That is a good and happy compromise. So the final step is to see if color grading will help or hurt this. Your cellular automata video a little while ago got me into playing with the blur attribute node. It's really cool. Yeah, are you talking about the reaction diffusion one? So yeah, that is cellular automata. I'm not sure. I think it might qualify. Ooh, the kind of metallic. Ooh, that's some good grading. Yeah, I think, no, that does qualify. Does it? I think it does. Yeah, it does. It definitely does. So here's it without the color grading, and here's it with. So if you want that kind of steel look, the kind of movie look, yeah, this is an upgrade. Curious how this looks with Geonode's grass. I do have Geonode's grass that I could put into this scene. Let me save this also, because, you know, I need to, keep this all going. Just in case, you know, the power blips happen in my apartment. Let's, that's good. Scale noise, fun. Terrifying. So C, that does its job. Radius, noise, influence, those are good. Exactly, as intended. Can't quite think of anything else to add. Can you guys think of anything else? I think it's all set to hit the show floor. I'm aiming to release the upgraded versions tomorrow, so I just need to render out this, post it, and people will be like, oh, wonderful, I'm going to buy this today. And that looks like higher contrast, but I think that's good. Let's also try bumping this up to 6,000, no, too much. Okay. So I could set this to no, none of that, and that's all right. Any gamma boosts? Ooh, gamma boosts. That may help with that, maybe. No, I'm going to keep it like that because that gives us more detail. Oh, ray marched beads of moisture. Oh, ray marching. I've tried that so many times. Each time it kicks me in the rear. Oddly enough, doing ray marching with geometry nodes is so incredibly easy. It's insane how easy it is. But in the shader editor, it's so complex. So complex. Because Blender doesn't have proper loops and all that. Yep. Geonode's beats, that may be possible. I did, like, this uses the trim curve node, so the drops wouldn't follow along when these extend. They would just kind of appear. But yeah, that would be possible. Just maybe a bit chaotic in this scene. Or do you mean like on the floor? Yeah. Looks really cool. Oh, yeah, just playing, yeah. Yep, this is good. It's good enough to hit the shelves. This also, ow, I just hurt my finger. This also has the textures if someone were to want to, you know, break up the thing. A little slime trail. Funnily enough, I did try the slime trail with dynamic paint. And it did work. But it was laggy. And I could do that with the geometry node simulations if they came around, but they're in the land of tomorrow. And by tomorrow, I mean probably in the next half year. 3 months. Let's say 3 months. So yeah. But the time's been going by faster for me because I've been doing more instead of just sitting around doing Blender stuff. So, yeah. Alright, I think that's good. I think I'll end the stream. It's been 1 hour and 15 minutes, which is good enough to, you know, shake up a scene and make it better. I don't know what else to add some flair. I think just showing off the effect is good. And yeah, I'd say that's quite an upgrade, the kind of sci-fi feel rather than the kitchen countertop. Yeah, kitchen countertop with the sunlight being way too high. Like, I don't know why that was so incredibly... That had to be so high. It did not. Like, if we look at false color... Color management... Yeah, there we go. Most of it... Actually, no. Maybe this material is just super dark for what's happening in the scene. Yeah, false color. Maybe I should just post... Maybe I should just post this, the false color version. People will be like, what the heck are you doing? Do you like the hex tiles? Yeah, I do like those. Which those... Turns out making hexagons are harder than you would think in the shader editor. Blender should have them in by default. But yeah, hexagon tiles, I made a node group for them. If we take a look on the internals, it's a lot more math than you would like. Even though I can switch this to a vector now, but MixRGB does the same. Vex nodes has them. Yeah, that's good. What did I do? Okay, let's not save this. So, when Blender Market comes around, I'll need to update this on Blender Market. Maybe I'll do a couple promotional pieces for it. Because I need to get better at publicizing these projects. Maybe I'll have Curtis do voiceover for some of them. Maybe I could try doing my own. I could see it now. Do you want to make your own mimics? Do you want to have a Venom-style effect in Blender? Well, now you can with my new paid product that is now up on Gumroad. It is $5, the price of a cup of coffee. Actually, with inflation now, you know, the price of a cup of coffee is more like $7, if it's a fancy one. But, yeah. Alright, folks. Thank you for stopping by, and first, thank you for being active in the chat. Your feedback is very, very helpful. And, I will see you all next time.